No. Hey guys, it's Katie and welcome back to Lucid 9 Inciting Incident. In the last episode, we played a game with Mr. Iota, and the game was that every time he hit the boy, I would have to hit the girl with the metal pipe. It kept going on and on like that. I tried to stall as many times as I could, and then it finally gave us a choice to either kill the girl or attack Ryota. I didn't want to kill the girl, so I tried to attack Mr. Ryota, and he hit me in the leg, and I ended up getting a bad ending. Like, I think he may have killed Rue. I'm not quite sure, I didn't really say, but I tried it again, and this time I picked to kill the girl, and Shigure showed up right before Yama was about to do it. Rue and Yama ran out of the classroom. They went up to the school rooftop, and Rue jumped off the side of the building into the school pool. As soon as Yama was about to jump, Mr. Ryota kind of grabbed Yama back, and Yama ended up like stabbing Ryota with his own knife, and they both tumbled into the pool below. Mr. Ryota ended up getting arrested. Yama and Rue were in the hospital for about 2 months and 2 weeks, I think they said. They had to go through therapy after such a traumatic experience. Just going through that and having to relive those moments. I think Yama became OCD and was started washing his hands many times because he felt like there was blood on them. He was pretty traumatized with what happened with Mr. Ryota and the students. After that, after 2.5 months and 2 weeks, Yama starts getting better, and they finally let his friends see him. So first, Yaiko and Masato comes and sees us, and I was just so happy to see them at that point because it was just, that whole ordeal was just so gruesome. And then Akira, Elizabeth, and Eri visited Yama, and then Shigure, and then Mizaki. So let's continue where we left off. It was surprising to see Mizaki so anxious, but then again, it's only natural considering everything that's happening. The academy is being excluded from the media. The citizens are fed up with the government. Mayor Inori is calling for sovereignty. It seems change is imminent for Izumo. The fact that the murders have garnered so much attention on this scale still boggles my mind. Not wanting to dwell on it for too long, I force myself to clear my head. I can think more on this later. For now, I should focus on the people around me. That's probably all I can do. The next visitor comes around an hour after Mizaki. She's dressed in her school uniform like she's just an ordinary student going to an ordinary school, ready to face another long day of ordinary classes and ordinary teachers. The sight is so ordinary that it makes my throat sore. After these past 3 months, after remembering how she dragged me through therapy, after all that she's been through, just looking at her makes me hopeful that life will, one day, return to normal. She kicks back in the chair by my bed, face shining with a typical grin. "Morning, lazyhead." "Morning. What's with the uniform?" "I don't know. I kind of missed it after a while." "Come again?" "It's not all that bad. I mean, being forced to wear it kind of sucks, but when you don't have to wear it anymore, it feels weird. Like, hey, I'm still a second year. I have another 365 days before I become an old fogey." I flick her in the forehead with a mocking frown. "Who are you calling an old fogey?" "Who do you think?" "Are you sure you want to stick with that statement?" "What's that supposed to mean?" "You know, being an old fogey is a pretty good life. I get killer discounts, I don't have to work, and I have a free pass to say any offensive thing I want." On second thought, never mind. Too late, now I have old person privileges. Heaven help us all. It's a little weird, teasing each other like this after we've just been through, but I wouldn't have it any other way. You know, this would function as an amazing segue to a different topic of conversation. "Oh no, don't do it." Speaking of old fogies, how is your parents doing? I hate you. I know. She kicks my bed a little, but petulantly responds. They've been visiting over the past few months. They couldn't come in here, though, because, you know, because I was isolated, because I was unstable. But I could leave to talk with them at any time. They're really thankful. It'd be nice if you could come over for dinner sometime. They'd like to talk to you about something. Anytime. Sounds like we're both going back to Seto. Yeah, since school's closed, they want me to go back home. Probably tomorrow. They visited earlier. You didn't see them? No, I was probably sleeping. Maybe. Did something happen? Oh, well, you know, Dad said that something important happened at work. He probably got caught up in it, as usual. Well, that makes sense. Rue bites her lip and meets my gaze. I really think that you should contact your parents. The air grows a little chilly. My fingers dig into the blankets. No need. The hospital probably has. Okay. We sit in silence for another moment as Rue works to find words to say. Yama? But the door suddenly flies open and the familiar faces pour into the room. Yaiko, Masato, Mizaki, Akira, Elizabeth, and Eri all race to my bedside. Aww. Up and at 'em, coach. You have hereby been acquitted of all crimes. What? I think she means you're allowed to leave the hospital. And the doctors told you guys this? Not me? Come on, man. Only a pansy sits around and twiddles his thumbs when there's work to be done. In other words, you got tired of waiting. Well, technically, my good minion, Yama is officially released, all due to my considerable influence. Uh-huh, I'm sure. Actually, the scary thing is that he's probably telling the truth. I really need to ask him about, well, everything, eventually. Oh, get up already. Elizabeth suddenly seizes my arm and pulls me out of bed, shoving a handful of clothing in my face. Get dressed. We have something to show you. The others smile excitedly, poised on the tips of their toes. Rue grins encouragingly. Lead the way. After giving me a few minutes to change into a spare uniform, we check out of the hospital and clamber into a limousine, supposedly paid for by Yaiko. Dang, Yaiko! I want to be friends with Yaiko! The group's in a chatty mood as we wind down the streets to the familiar shopping complex by the academy. Laughter, jokes, and teasing chase away the tension in the air. We stop in front of Café de la Paix, where Yaiko bounds up to the door and opens it with a flourish. Huh, déjà vu. After you, my good minions. I'm floored as we step through the door. Colorful streamers and balloons are plastered around half of the cafe, decorated letters proclaiming, "Welcome back, heroes," hanging from the ceiling. Aww. It's a stark contrast from the slick and sophisticated furnishings, but that doesn't stop my gratitude. This is for us? I certainly don't see anyone else. You guys... Rue covers her face with her hands. I just... Thank you. It ain't nothing. Just a couple balloons and streamers. I wanted to rent a dragon, but Elizabeth said it'd be a fire hazard. Not to mention the minor problem that dragons don't exist anymore. Hey, don't forget who's paying for all of this. Praise me. Praise me! Wow, to think that he would actually say that out loud. Thank you for your generosity. Elizabeth says these words plainly and honestly. Could they actually be getting along? But of course, my lady. This is pocket change in comparison to the Akari family treasury. Elizabeth's good mood quickly falters, but Mizaki's eyes light up in realization. Pocket change? Akari wealth is insurmountable, lovely maiden. Truly, your generosity is unimaginable. how kind your spirit is to provide our lowly company with a bountiful feast of refreshments. Wait, refreshments? Ah, so you agree. The hospitality of an Ikari is beyond measure. I shall make certain that of all my followers learn of this. All of your followers? Okay, Miki, that's just evil. I believe that 8 orders of high tea will be sufficient for our party. They're making him pay for everything. High tea? Now, time to write that pat. This is beginning to feel like extortion. Okay. 8 orders of high tea. Coming right up. The poor soul. I watch with sympathy as he slides over to the counter, attempting to flirt with the server for a discount. Meanwhile, Akira and Elizabeth have dragged 3 tables together and arranged 8 chairs in an even ellipse. Have a seat. We've something special planned. Even more than all this? Ha, you didn't think that we dragged your asses all the way here just to drink some plant water, did you? Elizabeth seems fairly offended at this disparagement of her beloved tea, but remains silent as Masato flings something out of his backpack. Ta-da! A heavy, ragged binder lands squarely in the center of the table, stuffed to the brim with stacks of paper. A binder? Ooh, the last time I saw one of those was during the Edo period. It ain't that old! We're all surprised when Eri suddenly snatches the binder, flipping through it like a madman. She smiles, the closest thing that I've ever seen to a broad smile from her. It's an RP? Yeah? Can I be GM? Her eyes are almost shining. I've never seen her so happy before. Well, sure, I was gonna do it if no one wanted, but... I want to. Huh, role-playing. Who would have thought? I didn't know you liked board games, Masato. What? This ain't a board game. This is an artifact of story creation that weaves intricate tales of a hero's development. Me and the boys at home played it all the time. Little Hibiki had to be the healer though, cause he couldn't sustain a good pounding. I have an ominous feeling about this. How exactly did you play RPGs? Acted it out, of course. How else are you supposed to play them? Oh boy. Who needs dice anyway? This way, it's all down to skill. No, dice are imperative. This firm word from Eri shocks us into brief silence. Dice are pansy. Well, hey, you're GM. That was frightening. For a moment, I swear that Eri was radiating a death aura. It might be best it might be best to get on her good side. So, what should we do first? You must create a character. Wait, I must develop a word lore. Eri narrows her eyes in concentration for a brief moment. Steampunk setting. You are in Eglair Metropolis, a bustling city where clockwork machinery see to your needs and humans find ways to reach the heavens. Dude, I want to play this game. This sounds so much fun. Your fortunes are blessed, placing you squarely in the middle class. This metropolis is enlightened and thriving. Of this, you are grateful. Please choose one of the following classes. The Knight, a powerful yet cumbersome fighting type. The Heister, a rogue of sly mind and wit, with nimble feet and fingers. The Alchemist, a master of magical artifacts and elements with a scientific twist. The Doctor, a knowledgeable cleric. Generally for girls. The Musketeer, a champion of firearms. The Engineer, an inquisitive innovator of ingenious inventions. The Entertainer, vulnerable to battle but charming and convincing. Wait, did she really come up with that in just 5 seconds? Wow, they all sound so fun. I don't know what to pick. Ain't it obvious? There's only one good class. Here we go. Time for Mercenary Masato, the unbeatable fighter. The Doctor! Wait, what? Masato, you know that the doctor is the healing type, right? What, you think I'm an idiot? I've always wanted to be the cleric, but they always made me the fighter. Well, this is getting interesting. Very well, Masato, doctor. She doesn't even seem fazed. As for me, I'll be the heister. Sounds exciting. And I'll try my hand at a musketeer. That fits with your aim. She whips in my direction, ready for a snappy comeback, but then realizes that I was complimenting her. Oh, thank you. Her aim was really impressive. I'll be an entertainer. Oh, so useless? You say that when we're in a foreign nation, and the only thing keeping us from the chopping block are my lyre skills. An entertainer could be really useful, not that I'll say that aloud. So, Dr. Masato, Heister Akira, Musketeer Elizabeth, Entertainer Rue, Yama, Mizaki, and Yaiko remain. Yama, why don't you pick first? Sure. I overview the list of classes in my head. Logically, we should probably all pick different classes so that we're a balanced group. That leaves me with the alchemist, the engineer, or the knight. Being a knight sounds like I'll have to do a lot of fighting. Being an alchemist sounds really cliche. I guess I'll be an engineer. What do they do exactly? Engineer stuff, of course. Yes, Akira, so I gathered. In that case, I'll be a knight. What? Not an alchemist? Being an alchemist sounds so boring. Knights are much more heroic and daring. Well, that's no surprise. Now, to start. Whoa, hold up, hold up, hold up! Yaiko suddenly pops next to me, apparently done with ordering the budget-breaking 8 high teas. Masato, my man, I thought we agreed that we don't need to use pen and paper. We did? Without responding, Yaiko reaches into his own backpack and splays some things around the table. Merry Christmas, everyone! It isn't Christmas. Yaiko's gifts are sight codes, gleaming with the shinies of the newly released product. Where could Yaiko have gotten these? Technically, they're just prototypes, but they should work amazingly well for our purposes. Ooh, this is so cool! As we fit the futuristic spectacles over our eyes, Eri taps the table with impatience. Yaiko, you must pick a class. Class? Well, strategically speaking, you should pick the remaining class, which is the alchemist. Your command is my wish, milady. What's with all the stares? Am I supposed to come up with a name and backstory and all that? Well, if you insist. I'm 0.0017 kilometers tall. Eyes are blue as an Egyptian oasis. I was crafted by angels and fell from the heavens. My clothing is skin tight, which helps pronounce my amazing figure. What strikes you speechless, good minions? My dashing good looks? That's not exactly how I would put it. Hey, I have a great idea. Why don't we get started, Eri? Thank you, Rue. That is not an idea at all, but very well. Our very literal GM proceeds to close her eyes, speaking in a soft, rolling tone reminiscent of the most skilled storytellers. You receive a letter promising power and prestige. If you will simply enter the Caravan Tower at 2000 and ask for Ion, what shall you do? Go, of course. I didn't waste a moment of time. I agree. Full steam ahead, people. Well, power and prestige sound fun and dandy, but there's money involved, Emma Heister, see, all we's care for is them shinies, Reminds me of like Guild Wars 2, like the Skrit, which are like these like rat people. They're always like shinies. She's barely understandable. I'm not putting up with this throughout the entire RP. Wait, Akira. If it's steampunk, we should all speak in British accents. If looks could kill, Elizabeth would currently be my murderer. Don't you dare, Yama Ishimoto. Tally-ho! We've done quite the bang-up job on our character creations, if I do say so myself. Akira and Rue apparently don't notice that I'm teasing. They only light up with excitement. That is a splendid idea! Why, I do believe you've landed upon something quite profound, Yama Ishimoto. Elizabeth buries her face in her hands, but the pair continue on, oblivious. Well, Rue, under these circumstances, it would be prudent to meet this person together, would it not? Oh yes, indubitably, I quite agree. Eri cuts in with her solid monotone, earning Elizabeth some relief. Elizabeth, Misaki, Akira, and Rue are en route, and... well, it wouldn't be a party without the great Yaeko Akari. Yeah, I'm gonna go too. Sure, why not? Very well. Eri closes her eyes, contemplating for a moment, then opens them with a renewed fervor. En route to the fated tavern, you suddenly encounter a rabid horde of cretinous dingbats. What? It's something Shigure says often. And suddenly, I'm not surprised anymore. Prepare for battle. Ooh, look at this. Okay, so it has all their characters in the middle here. That's cool. This must be the doctor, the engineer, with the musketeer, right? The knight. What were the other ones? The entertainer. I forget what the other two were. Shit. The alchemist, right? This must be the alchemist, and then I can't remember. Hold up, citizens. Stand back. This is a job for President J. Graves. Governmecker, mobilize! You have no ability by that title. Then I unleash a fiery storm of death, for I am the alchemist. Ladies and gentlemen, power gaming at its finest. I see. Roll. Yaeko does so. Oh, cool! He got a 1. You drop your spellbook on your toe. What? Sorry, man, but you gotta stick to being a model. Error 404. Model class does not exist. Maybe it'll work if he models as an alchemist. No, I protest! These dice must be weighted. But they're digital, Yaeko. They can't be weighted. Look, let's just have melee in front, ranged in back, and Rue in the far back. This matter should be fairly simple, considering that it's the first battle in the game. Okay, what exactly do I do? You just gotta play for us, Rue. We'll keep you safe. Yeah, and Yama will protect you. Or Masato, you know, whoever. A bard boosts team stats and morale. If you roll high, you may even provide others with an extra turn. Wow, I sound so useful. You do know that essentially, you're just plucking around on wood and metal, right? Shut up, Yama. Right, let's start this battle before everything turns to rubbish. Eri, I fire at that dodgy tosser by the front. Dodgy, ha, tosser. Shut up, Yama. I think your accent is really cool. Thank you. 17. She rolls on the monitor. For once, it's actually a high number. Yeah, she's the musketeer. Direct hit, musketeer. The cretinous dingbat crumples into the dust of ignorance whence it came. I'm pretty sure that phrase also came from Shigure. Then I'll attack the nearby enemies. She rolls another decent hit. Another cretinous dingbat has fallen by the blade of the knight. Ha! As if these dingbats could ever handle me. In that case, I slit the throat of that one in the back. Which one is she? I forget. Heister. Okay. And with the final high roll, the cretinous dingbat falls beneath the crooked blade of the heister. Only one cretinous dingbot remains. I got it with my scalpel. You're a cleric, Masato. I don't think you should get anywhere near those enemies. What is he doing? You banging on my medical school? I'll show ya. 6. You scratch the cretinous dingbat. Scratch? I told you so. Well, it wasn't terrible at least. Gah. Poor Masato. He must be used to winning from acting out RPs instead of rolling for them. Yama, you should move. Huh? Oh yeah. I considered my options for a moment. I could just fire at it with a pistol, I guess, but that seems kind of bland. What's the cretinous dingbot made out of? Cogs, gears, and steam. Okay, I take the nearest pipe and stick it into the mechanism to jam it. That's an innovative idea. But why do something so boring when you can make it explode into a ball of fire? Because I might drop my spellbook on my toes. Ha, what kind of dummy would do that? Gee, I wonder. Roll. I do so, and... Ooh, wow, of all times to be lucky. 20? Coach Lucky Luckerson! In one swift motion, you thread the pole through the cogs at a critical point. The mechanism locks in place, overheats, and explodes into a ball of fire. What? Congratulations, you have cleared the first battle. Your rewards are... Wait, hold up. No, I cannot let a mere peasant surpass the greatness of Governor Mecker. Let's just skip to the next battle. What? Yeah, oh, and make it a big one. The final battle. 5 armies clashing upon a battlefield of darkness, and leading the forces of light is the great hero, President J. Graves. Backing away slowly now. Yaiko's classic antics. I didn't realize how much I appreciated them until now. Very well, you teleport to the final battle, surrounded by enemies on all sides. Wait, what? But we haven't even the chance to level up. As my shot sent how the Shakin doctors are mad of. I don't know. We stare at him in silence, completely bewildered by the foreign words spewing out of his mouth. Well, all of us save for one, of course. You do understand that you're a healer, right? You should focus on keeping us alive, not showing off. Mozaki's response is quick and forceful, fully understanding what Masato just said. Miki, you know what he's saying? Of course I do. You don't? Oh wait, he was speaking street, wasn't he? Speaking street? She's probably referring to the slang that reigns over the poorer districts of Izumo. I guess that Masato's random word vomit is actually street slang. That makes sense. Hey, Megumi, you speak street too? Mizaki. And yes, I suppose I picked it up while I was in District 6. Everyone seems surprised by this revelation. Well, everyone except Rue and I. It sounds so cool. Can you be our translator? Sure. Aces. In retouch my street. Near kin when these Ian get fit. You can brush up on your street, but I doubt it would be any useful. Whoa, how do you even understand everything? Mizaki shrugs her shoulders. It sort of slipped into my diction, I guess. But that's not important right now. Let's continue the battle. Ah yes, the very abrupt battle of the 5 armies, all because of Yaiko Akari. Ah, one detail. Suddenly, a flood of monsters pop up in our sight codes, practically burning our eyes with light. The other 4 armies are allied and fighting you. All 4 armies? Oh gosh. Yeah guys, let's not do this. Can't we just go back to the tavern and go through the RP like normal people? You question the will of the great Akari? Fear not, good citizens. President J. Graves can fight this whole horde with one arm behind his back. I'm never going back. The past is in the past. No, I'm a doctor. Yes, you are. I take it that we're fighting then? Yes. Okay, well, don't blame me if you all die terrible deaths. Man, lighten up. It's a game. We're bound to die anyway. We tap our sight codes to take our positions. Hopefully they're strategically sound. From what I can tell, Ares at least nice enough to keep the enemies at the same level as us. Hopefully this is actually beatable. Akira suddenly moves her icon in front of ours, pacing it back and forth like a war general speaking to her unit. A day may come when the courage of men fails, when we forsake our friends and... No, Akira. Aw, coach, what's the fun in having a final battle if you can't have the epic speech? Why do I suddenly get the feeling that we've had this exchange before? Whatever, make it quick. Fine, I'll make it a little more interesting. Men, women, ask not what of your country can do for you, but what can you do for your hippopotamuses? Wait, what? This day we fight. And with that, Eri, I'd like to pickpocket the nearest enemy. Akira's attempt is a failure, but at least she doesn't pay dearly for it. But Eri surprises us by breaking in right after Akira's turn is over. The Clockwork Goblin on the flank surges forward and attacks Rue. Rue, roll for dodge. Immediately, the token on our screen starts to the vulnerable backline, where Masato and Rue are wide open. Akira, your move left our backline wide open. Uh-oh. Relax, at the very least, my dex is really high. She presses a finger to the frame of her sight code. The fateful die lands on our displays. A 1? Are you serious? Great galloping gophers! Even with your substantial modifier, Rue, you did not dodge. You must be really unlucky today. No, wait, there has to be some kind of mistake. Unfortunately, dear Rue, the mistake seems to be yours. No, man, saw you slip. Do it up. Masato says that everything is your fault, Yaiko, and you need to fix it. Me? Why me? Yeah, then pressin' for the puncher. You're the one who insisted on having this battle. Okay, I'll, fix it. No, wait! I'm sure Yama will be more than happy to revive Rue using mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. What? Yama, roll with strength, dexterity, constitution, and intelligence modifier. No, in real life! We have no physical dice. I mean that he should do CPR on Rue in real life. What? Oh, this is getting interesting. You guys can't be serious. I have no opinion on the matter. Wait, Rue's dead? Is she a zombie? No, she isn't, hence why there's no need for CPR. Don't worry, Rue, I'll do it. Oh, gosh. Masato, there's literally no reason to perform CPR. Whoa, dude, you sound intense. Aw, someone's getting jealous. I'm not getting jealous. That's what a jealous person would say. Miki! The group breaks out into laughter at my expense. I feel betrayed. Hey guys, you lay off Yama. I'll take one for the team. You know what? I have a great idea. Why don't I just, stay dead? 6. Suddenly, a die roll on our monitors break the flow of conversation. Who rolled that? Not I. Nor I. It was me. Eri pauses for a moment, glancing at her GM references before pronouncing judgment. Rue did not die. She has, however, been mortally wounded and taken captive by enemy forces. I... did. What? This doesn't seem to be better than death. Why is my luck so awful? Don't worry one bit, Rue. We'll save ya. Masato, from a strategic standpoint, that is impossible. Don't you see how many enemies fortify the base? Tch, that ain't no problem. We gotta save Rue. This is the operative we, or the royal we. Remember who you're talking about, Yama. Masato is probably the most literal human being I know. That's true, but you saying you ain't gonna lift a finger? Tiny one, I charged through the enemy lines like a man. Like a real man. Elfman off a fairy tale. He taps his sight code to roll. 2. You die. Masato's face crumples as if Christmas has been cancelled. Oh, maybe you should have said it a little softer. You die. This is a good example of why you must look before you leap. Honestly, what were you thinking? Charging in like a bull is quite possibly the worst strategic decision you could ever make. Yeah, and what are y'all doing? Nothing. Cut me up all you want, but you ain't any better than our enemies, standing around like a bunch of dummers. This is punctuated by a very long silence. Oh my. Dummers? Standing around? Yama, let's save Rue! I concur. We must rescue Rue at once. Roger that. Operation Saving Private Rue is a go. Climb every mountain. Ford every stream. Follow every rainbow till you find your dream. Why are you guys so old? Well, coach, give us the orders. Me? It's the least you can do. You've been utterly useless thus far. I trust your judgment, Yama. Huh, well, I don't know what's possessed them, but for some reason, I appreciate their faith. So, looks like we have to fight through a huge mass of enemies to get to Rue. No way around it. This'll definitely take some sacrifices. Essentially, my best chance is to use the others to pull out the forces away, little by little, like an elite guerrilla task force. Well, when I think about it, it's not really fair to just sacrifice the others. I'll distract them. Anyone remaining, make a break for Rue. What? Are you sure, Yama? Or is this the ever-famous act of noble idiocy? The heated fire of his love is unquenchable, even in the face of death. Or simply stupidity. I doubt that this decision is strategically sound. Just get Rue, yeah? I guide my token to the flank of the giant forces. Eri, I throw as many explosive and weapons as possible into the army to draw their attention. He's sacrificing himself. This is accompanied with a decent roll. A horde of tokens swarm around me before I can blink. You are now surrounded by clockwork goblins. That's the cue. Fly, you fools! Akira, Elizabeth, and Mizaki charge through the newly opened gap with fervor as I quickly succumb to the giant group of goblins. Stay focused, the end is in sight! But just as she utters this, the guards by the prisoner of war camp seem to double in number. Some goblins were sleeping. Uh-oh. Some? The puny resistance force is quickly stamped out by the new horde, leaving Rue hopeless in the clutches of the goblins. Game over. You are all dead. No, not all of us! Have you so easily forgotten that the general still stands? Governmecker, mobilize! My firestorm, Eri. Roll. What again? You drop your spellbook on your other toe. I call foul. Something's wrong with the RNG, dude. There cannot be anything wrong with the RNG. It is simply an RNG. But, it's alright, dude. Getting late anyway. Almost time for my curfew. Huh? Already? I checked the time. It's actually 5:40. I guess we must have left the hospital pretty late. Besides, the RP was really fun. And I'm sure it would have been more fun if someone didn't insist on skipping to the final battle without a plan. I also really enjoyed it. My compliments to the GM. Wait, are we leaving? But the high tea just got here. Sure enough, 2 servers had bustled out from the back rooms, arms laden with trays of teapots and dainty sandwiches. My stomach grumbles embarrassingly loud. Everything looks delicious. Well, if it's food. He promptly sips down and unshamingly digs in. Well, that was easy. This is all due to Yaiko's generosity, everybody. Make sure to express your gratitude. Thanks, Yaiko. Your gratitude knows no bounds, oh fantastical benevolence. I appreciate your generosity, if little else. Thanks, man. Oh, well, you know, this is just pocket change for an Akari. Note to self, never get on Mizaki's bad side. She's totally got Yaiko wound around her little finger. I try a scone on the nearest tray. It crumbles delicately in my mouth, perfectly cooked. Wow, this is really good stuff. Thanks, Yaiko. But of course, after all, a proper world dictator must keep his minions well fed. At times like this, I wonder if a world run by Yaiko wouldn't actually be that bad. Generosity is popular with the ladies after all. I take that back. I take all of it back. After scooping some treats onto a plate, I return to my seat. Unlike the last time we were all together, no one separated into groups. Everyone is sitting around the same table, chatting with smiles on their faces. It's heartwarming. So, hypothetically speaking, what would you do if all politicians suddenly turned into chairs? Well, they'd at least be somewhat useful. The authorities do the best they can, you know. Are they at least comfy chairs? If they are, I'd vote for them. How can people turn into chairs? Then again, some topics of discussion are questionable. Hey dude, staring at the lovely angels I see. What? Don't you fret, my good man. I know precisely what you're thinking. You want to woo one of them, don't you? I really don't. Well, you're in luck, because for a limited time offer, Wait, really? I glance at the others. They seem to be immersed in conversation, filling the cafe with a pleasant buzz. Maybe now's my chance to have a little chat with Yaiko. Say, Yaiko. I pause for a moment, trying to find the right words. I was wondering, you know, we never figured why Mr. Ryota, we never figured out Mr. Ryota's motive. Do you happen to know? As I fumble awkwardly with the message, Yaiko interrupts me. It's fine, dude. I get it. It's kind of hard to think about, you know? 5 people I know, all gone. His smile's painfully forced. Anyway, I don't understand all these killings. But when I was talking with my mom and dad about it, they got totally stressed. I don't know, it doesn't really make any sense. The police don't seem to have a clue either. I mean, apparently, Mr. Ryota's an immigrant, but why? Why would he kill 4 kids? For no reason. His voice becomes gratingly strident, halting all activity in the cafe. Everyone turns to Yaiko, open-mouthed, no doubt taken aback at the sudden gravity in his tone. And then, in the blink of an eye, Yaiko's face suddenly flashes back into his trademark grin without a hint of a shadow. What bothers you so, my good minions? Have I captured your hearts? A moment of silence follows. I can see the hesitation on everyone's faces, the hesitation of wanting to help Yaiko, but not knowing how. His toothy smile, his arrogant front, it's an impenetrable wall that's impossible to break down. Is it possible to help him when he doesn't really want it? It doesn't seem so. Eventually, the group awkwardly returns to conversation, and Yaiko's shoulders slump just slightly in relief. It's jarring to see his personality switch at the bat of an eye, But maybe that's his coping mechanism, just like mine is standing from afar, mocking anything I can. Sorry, dude. Anyway, there's a lot of things about Mr. Iota that still don't make sense. It gives me a bad feeling. Kinda like seeing a guy in a French maid costume, you know? No, I can't say I do. I'll look into it. Yaiko deserves that much. Thanks, dude. Hey, last sandwich. Any takers? We turn back to the commotion of the rest of the group. The trays are almost completely picked clean. Well, that was fast. I guess the cafe's quality speaks for itself. I'll have it. Sandwich? I'd like it. The food is quite delicious. I'm also pretty hungry. Then there's only a way to solve this. A competition. On second thought, I don't want it anymore. Me neither. Meh. I ain't even said what the competition is yet. What is it? Well, you know, a real man's fair, so... How about a riddle game? A what? Honor student and all, Masato, I'm pretty sure that Eri can beat you on that front. She's probably one of the most observant people I know. Oh, I know some great riddles. Why don't we have Rue give the riddles? I doubt any of Akira's riddles would be understandable. Okay. Masato marches in front of Rue, eyebrows focused into harsh lines on his head. Eri only stares blankly with a quirk of her head. The rest of us gather around them in slight interest. Let me see. There's a 10-foot chain nailed to a wall. The center dips down 5 feet. How far are the ends from each other? Ah, they're on the same nail. If the center's down 5 feet, that means that it going down and up totals to 10 feet, which is the length of the chain. Wow, you're right, Masato. That was quick. Why would a chain be nailed to a wall? Huh, you know, maybe there's some merit to Masato choosing a riddle competition. Okay, next. Okay, A young woman is attending her mom's funeral when she meets a man whom she falls in love with, but after the funeral, she can't find him. A couple days later, she kills her sister. Why? What? Why the hell would you do something like that against your own flesh and blood? This is a dumb riddle. You know that it's purely hypothetical, right? Ain't no kind of answer for that disgusting riddle. Didn't the woman want to meet the man at her sister's funeral? A pregnant pause fills the room. Yeah. She eats her peach. Rue, isn't that the psychopath test? Maybe she heard it before? The hell? It's dumb, is what it is. What kind of shacking dumber kills her family for some shallow love at first sight? Bad riddle. Next, Rue. Okay, Mr. Pushy. Oh, I know. 4 old men sat down to play. They played all night till break of day. They played for cash and not for fun, with separate scores for everyone. When it came to square accounts, they all made the same amounts. Not one lost and all gained. Now that you've heard, can you explain? This riddle has our entire group racking their brains. Same amounts? Played for cash? Maybe a highly improbable chance? Oh, I see. That's quite clever, Rue. Oh, what's the answer? Simply put, the men... No, shut up till I solve this. Elizabeth snorts and rolls her eyes, but stays quiet. Masato begins to pace in agitation as Eri stares longingly at the sandwich. Oh, I know. They were playing Day Pay. The bank robbery game? Yes, they played for cash. They had separate scores, but they earned the same amounts. As sensible as that is, I highly doubt that this riddle has anything to do with video games. Sorry, that's not technically the answer. Oh, I'm pretty sure that a dozen kittens just died at that moment. Ah, got it, Rue. The men are all musicians. Different scores, same amounts, playing from night to day. Yep, Masato, 2 points, Eri, 1. Ha, knew it. As Rue shuffles through riddles that she knows, the rest of us lean forward. Even though Masato and Eri are technically the only ones competing, the riddles are interesting enough for us to try. You're woken up at 4 a.m. by a knock on your door. It's from a friend who came for breakfast. You have bread, jam, bacon, and eggs. What do you open first? This time, there's not even a pause for deliberation. Everything at once, of course. Ain't no skimping on hospitality. No, sorry. It's not even physically possible to open 4 containers simultaneously. You ain't never been real hungry, have you? Okay, Eri, your answer? Don't you open the door first? Otherwise, your friend will be outside. That's right. Oh, damn. Should have seen that one. At least he has the dignity to acknowledge his loss. You know what this means? Ladies and gentlemen, we have ourselves a tiebreaker. Can I hear it for Team Marvelous Maza? Aw, yeah. The cafe falls into a deadly hush. Time ticks on. Right. How about Team Tiny Girl with an infinite stomach? Woohoo! Go, Eri! Think with brains and think with minds. Go and kick Maza's behind. I'm getting a sudden sense of deja vu. Well, Judge Rue, it's up to you to determine the fate of this matchup. That's a lot of pressure. It looks like this will be the riddle of a lifetime. Okay, let me think. She ponders for a moment in the stillness of the cafe, then clears her throat. Poor people have it, rich people need it. If you eat it, you die. What is it? Masato opens his mouth, but Eri beats him to the punch. Drugs. Another silence. What exactly has Eri been through in life? Poor people have it, rich people need it. If you eat it, you die. It's drugs. Well, I mean, technically speaking, she's not wrong. Rue quickly whips to Masato with a pleading look. Masato, what's your entry? Masato stands quietly, and for a brief second, it seems like a huge burden is on his shoulders. We wait in poised silence for his fateful reply. I think I know this one. I think it's nothing. I think that's the answer. Finally, he opens his eyes, enunciating every syllable with crispness. The answer is nothing. I thought so. Poor people have nothing, rich people need nothing, and if you eat nothing, you die. A stoic stillness falls upon the cafe. Something about his words seem unnaturally heavy. And then Akira breaks the tension with a loud, enthusiastic round of clapping. Well, darn my socks. Looks like we've got ourselves a winner. Yes, right. Rue quickly snatches the lonely sandwich from its plate and thrusts it towards Masato. I hereby bestow upon the final sandwich. Go, eat, have fun. Drugs isn't the right answer? Most people wouldn't think of drugs. Does that make it wrong? Here we go. Deep questions by Eri Hiraga. Rue grins in a very panicked manner and promptly grabs my sleeve. Well, it's been fun, guys, but it's getting awfully late. Wow, I'm suddenly so tired. It must be my leg. And I gotta head back. Curfew. In that case, it would be efficient to all walk back together. No. Mizaki, Elizabeth, Eri, Yaiko, bathroom. Time for some girl talk. Why is Yaiko included in that? Yes, of course. Wait, why am I included? And boy oh boy, Masato, it's getting really late. You should run back as fast as possible, right now. Huh? Nah, I'll just walk with... Oh, Masato, my man, let's go! And without warning, Yaeko once again grapples Masato's arm and drags him out the door. I'm not sure what caused this abrupt action, given the fact that he should love being alone with a group of girls. Just after their sudden exit, Akira leads the other girls into the women's bathroom without another word, leaving Rue and I alone. Wow, that was really subtle. Incredibly subtle. They should become national spies. Or international. We pause. A sudden idea seizes my mind, a bit random and spontaneous, but even so. Say, Rue, can you come with me? Where to? The cemetery. It's been hovering in the back of my mind for the past 3 months. You mean? Yeah. Are you sure? I mean, up until now, I thought you didn't. I mean, I wouldn't want to. You wouldn't be. I want you to come with me. Okay, let's go. We head to the subway and board it in silence, riding north along the side of the river. All it takes is disembarking the subway and crossing the bridge, and we arrive. The air is beautiful here, but cold. Maybe it's solely due to the sight of an endless stretch of memorial stones, but the light feels frigid against my skin. I pull my jacket tightly around me and navigate the cemetery. Although it's been a long time, years, my footsteps easily find their way. Rue lays a gentle hand on my arm, comforting but unobtrusive. On another day, I might stop and muse at how many stones, how many different stories, lie just in this one spot. Each engraving, a different life, each monument, a different family history. But in this moment, I'm focused on just one thing. I pull to a stop in front of a marker by a boundary of trees, where a large stone looms from the ground, brisk letters carved into its surface. Ishimoto family grave. Mizu Ishimoto, February 1999 to January 2008. The business card deposit next to the grave is stacked, long neglected over the years. I absently shuffle through a few of them. Reporters, more reporters, teachers from our school, more reporters. This is the only mark that she made, a story in breaking news, significant for just a fleeting moment. She could have grown up to be so much more, but instead, she was just a kid who suffered a tragedy. 3 months ago, maybe I would have been furious at the world. No, 3 months ago, I was definitely furious at the world. But now... Hey sis, I'm sorry that I didn't bring you any flowers or incense. Didn't even grab any water. Terrible brother, aren't I? I'm silent for a moment. Rue's fingers gently squeeze my shoulder. The wind picks up for a moment and sweeps warm air against our cheeks, almost like a single breath. If I close my eyes, I can almost see Mizu smile, soft, open, with total understanding. She's still 9 years old in my head, hasn't aged a day. Somehow, I doubt that she cares about flowers and incense. So, did you get my lanterns? I probably should have visited you sooner, but written communication is the next best thing, isn't it? Silence. Again. I swallow past the lump in my throat. Been having some problems about that day, as you probably know. I've always wished that you'd lived and that I died. Always. Who knows? Maybe if you were still around, no one would have gotten hurt. Maybe you would have caught Ryota before Shigure and I could have blinked. That sounds like you. The 9-year-old girl in my head frowns imperiously, almost as if to say, Yams, you totally underestimate yourself. It's okay, sis. I think I finally realized. Moping around doesn't change the past. Pretty sad, huh? You think it'd be obvious, considering that I can't time travel or anything. But I think, in some way, all I wanted to do, really, was remember you. Even if it meant being miserable all the time. Rue's face is coated with tears, but she doesn't say a word. I don't know why she's crying, but something about the sight is touching. So I think I'm finally ready. I'll be moving on, sis. Sorry to leave you behind. Or is it actually that you've gone on ahead and you're waiting? I don't know, but I think you can trust me. Not necessarily because of me, but because this girl, the one standing next to me, she's my best friend, and she has more responsibility than the both of us combined. She's really precious to me, so I'm sure you can trust her. I pause awkwardly, looking down at the stone. It feels so empty. No flowers, no food, nothing. I'll, see you later. I step away from the gravestone, but Rue suddenly darts forward. Mizu! I just wanted to say, thank you, Mizu. Thank you for protecting Yama. He means a lot, so much, to so many people. You're a hero, Mizu, so thank you. I feel like you should know that you didn't make a bad choice. Yama will be, well, it's really cool. So sleep well, okay? I hope we get to meet someday. She steps away from the stone. I stare at her, flabbergasted. That was quite possibly the highest praise I've ever received from someone, and she said it in front of Mizu. What? It's true. Thanks. She shuffles awkwardly for a moment, then shrugs. We stare at the ground, suddenly intent on studying our shoes. Finally, Rue slides into the nearby bench to set up beneath a tree. She leans her head backward and stares at the sky. Why don't we rest for a little bit? I sit on the opposite side of the bench, staring straight ahead. We remain in silence as the breeze brushes past, our hands folded neatly, almost formally, in our laps. At this moment, I'm keenly aware of the fact that something between us has drastically changed. It's not a change that I can verbalize. It's something abstract. Snug, but coiled. Like someone's taking the air between us and stretching it over a warm hearth. Yama. I almost jump in surprise. Huh? She pauses for a moment. The tension expands. I keep my eyes on the long column of stones. I hear a slight shifting of fabric, like Rue's taking something out of her jacket, and then a hollow, light clunk. From my periphery, I see her push something towards me, something that scratches gently against the bench. Rue withdraws her hand and turns her head away from me without a word. Hesitantly, I reach out and pick up the object. It's a small, long box wrapped in gold paper and topped with a crinkled silver bow. It's for you. I pause for a moment, my throat dry. So I gathered. Not like anyone else is around here. Rue remains silent, her face turned away. I gingerly raise the box and shake it against my ear. No sound. It's not like it'll explode or anything, idiot. She's not even looking, and she can tell what I'm doing. That's pretty remarkable. How many fingers am I holding up? Oh, come on, just open it. I pull the ribbon loose and work my finger into the paper, cleanly separating the creases. A black box slides out of the wrapping and lands in my hands. It has no branding, but its weightlessness in my palm exudes a sense of importance. What is this? If you opened it, you'd know. I lift the lid of the box, a tiny part of me expecting to see some kind of bomb. But no, it's not a bomb. It's a pen. In fact, it's a very expensive-looking pen with a marbled cobalt barrel and trimmings of silver on either end. I gently pick it from its velour lining, examining it in the scarlet sunlight. It lies heavily in the creases of my fingers, almost as if it's pressing life directly into my skin. Everything about this pen just screams money, and somehow I don't think Yaiko bought this one. I place the pen back in its case, clearing my throat. Suddenly, it's practically impossible to look at Rue. Thanks, I try to say. Thanks for the pen. Thanks for everything. The words stop short in my throat. I awkwardly cough. Wow. You opened it? This is pretty shiny. Do you like it? Well, yeah, it's really nice. Stupid, stupid, stupid. It's a nice pen, but it's more than that. How long has it been since I made that one dumb offhand comment in the amusement park? Oh yeah, that's right. Embrace the future, Yama. This is the ideal of technology. I'll stick with pen and paper, thanks. Ha, are you an old man? You don't even use pen and paper. I would if I had a pen that worked. You can always, I don't know, buy one? Now why would I do that? Has Rue been thinking about something so insignificant all this time? My fingers shake as I press the lid over the box, mind racing too fast to track. Rue cares. I've known about it for a long time, but... She remembered something random, something trivial, something that really didn't matter. No one even uses pens anymore. No one with common sense, that is. And yet, she prioritized it. She invested in it. For whose sake? Mine? I don't even know how to properly thank her, or if I can even properly thank her. I turned to her, gripping the box tightly in my hands, grasping for words. Rue. Wait! Before you say anything, I have something I want to tell you. She's still facing away from me, stubbornly keeping her eyes on the stones. I only sit in numb silence. So, I was thinking about, when we argued. And I guess I realized that I don't really give you enough credit. Not out loud, at least. So I just wanted to say thank you. I guess I've been saying it a lot recently, but you can never hear too much encouragement, right? Why? Why is she thanking me? She already complimented me in front of Mizu, and now... And just so you know, well, everyone might tease us about it, but this is just a gift between friends. I'm just so grateful. It sounds so cheesy, but I'm thankful that you protected me. In that classroom, with Mr. Iota, I felt so alone. I didn't think anyone would come for me. But there's always hope, isn't there? No matter what. Anyways, all that was to say that this is a gift with no strings attached. I just want you to use it well. And I know now that you'll always protect me anyway. She turns to me, the last remnants of the sun streaming through her hair in a river of fire. Every facet of her face lights up in a smile of pure, childlike joy, simple to the heart. Thank you, Yama. You're my best friend. And the moment becomes still. It's funny, to another person, maybe that sentence would be offensive. I'm your best friend? That's it? That's all I mean to you after so many years? But to me, it feels like the greatest gift I could ever imagine. After Mizu, I'd never thought that I could be normal again. I'd never thought that I could laugh, have fun, or tell stupid jokes to a close circle of friends. To be honest, I never thought that I would have friends at all. Life was empty, gray. I practically lived in a distant corner of the school playground. I could never grow up as a normal kid, not anymore. No one would want to be friends with a dopey, boring Yama Ishimoto. At least, that's what I'd believed. The wind gently brushes into a current that threads through us, whispering through fabric into a time that never ends. Our eyes are locked, but not in tension, not even in wariness. It's in peace, a baseline, earthy peace that feels unshakable, a sense of security that can't be replaced. I feel the corners of my lips slowly tug upwards, pulled unbidden by something light and warm, and my eyes close, and I'm laughing. Not like the sarcastic chuckle that have dominated the past few weeks, not even the sighs of relief earlier this morning, or the snorts of amusement throughout the day. It's something that I haven't felt in a long, long time. Quiet, pure, airy, something that makes me feel like I can do anything. Is this happiness? The emotion swells inside and my grin broadens until it feels like it'll burst off of my face. And then Rue's laughing. She's laughed often, but this time is also different. There's no gap between her breaths, and everything is fluid, almost as if it's pouring out of her. And we just sit there, returning back to childhood, two dorks laughing like idiots in the middle of a cemetery. It's probably disgraceful. We probably look like we're insane. But I close my eyes and I feel the sun on my face, and I realize that I don't care. Or rather, maybe I care about what actually matters. Rue's laughter finally quiets and she settles back, a light blush coloring her cheeks. If it's okay, can we get together tomorrow? I have something important to tell you. It should be an ominous phrase, but I only find myself grinning. You know that you can just tell me now, right? Well... She blushes a little deeper, digging her fingers into her skirt. Oh, maybe she's gonna confess to Yama finally. Like she's self-conscious about her uniform. The weather's not feeling quite right. The stars are not perfectly aligned. The horoscopes... Okay, I get it. Tomorrow it is. There's a brief pause. Rue lowers her gaze. We should get going. Rue. Huh? You're my best friend, too. She colors deeply at this, but a hint of that light, airy smile returns to her face. I know, you told Mizu. But thank you. There's so much more I want to say. She's thanked me for so much, things that don't even matter, but I haven't thanked her for anything. It was because of her make-believe that I got by Mizu's death. It was because of her support that I've gotten by these past few years. The romance conundrum? I don't know. It seems so far away, so insignificant. I just want to show her the gratitude that she deserves. Ooh, but I can't seem to find the right words to say. It's as if anything that comes to my mind gets lodged in there. I guess we'd better head back. Didn't I just say that? You might have, yes, but where are you even staying? Isn't the school closed? Well, it's not like they could just kick us out with nowhere to go, so there's temporary housing for students in an apartment complex. You're going there? Actually, I'm gonna go home. Mom and Dad arranged everything already. All my stuff's there. They're going to drive me back. I'll wait with you. No, you need to go home. It's getting dark. It's not safe for you to be around. And that makes it safer for you? I'll be fine. Don't forget to come by tomorrow, okay? I'll be there. You better. Bye. She runs over to the edge of the cemetery that lines up with the street. That eases my nerves, at the very least. She'll be in public. I head back to my own apartment, holding this novel, airy feeling as tightly as I can. The last traces of sun soaked out of the sky, replaced with deep shades of cobalt. It's been a good day. I step in front of my apartment door, reaching toward the keypad lock. Then I hear it. Faint melodies of some classical... Wait! Dude, oh my god. This was the ringtone in the forest. Wasn't that like Mr. Iota's like ringtone? It was the killer's ringtone in the forest in the beginning. Faint melodies of some classical strain are bleeding through my door. Music coming from my apartment, the apartment that I haven't been to in 3 months. The dizzy glow of ignorant happiness falls away from me all at once. I push the door open quietly, adrenaline spiking in my veins. Of course it's not over. Was I just getting complacent? I inch into my apartment as the music warbles on. Aside from the moonlight streaming through the curtains, everything is dark. I reach out to switch on the light, but nothing happens. The music swells to a crescendo. My hands grow clammy. I tighten them against my jacket. Something pricks at the back of my neck. I whip around, squinting at the shadows. Nothing but stillness. I shuffle to the kitchen, keeping my steps light as I extract a knife from the counter. My heart pulses in my throat. Someone in my apartment? Could it possibly? No, he's under custody. He has to be. Sugar Ray would tell me if he escaped. Yeah, but he had a partner, or, he even said that there was more than one person. This is what I was worried about. I inch closer, tightening my shaking grip on the handle of the knife. Dude, that's frickin' Natsuki, dude. And then something inches into the light, awash with silver. Good evening, Yama Ishimoto. Natsuki Tanaka leans against the window, arms crossed over her chest as she surveys me with a patronizing smile. Dude, she's one of the killers. I know it. It has to be. That ringtone was in the beginning, in the prologue, when my very first episode of doing this. This was the frickin' ringtone that was going off when their phone was going off. And it's suddenly playing in Yama's apartment. Natsuki. Why is Natsuki here? How did she get here? What is she doing? Did you miss me? My grip goes slack. The knife clatters to the floor. What are you doing here? I wonder. You can't just waltz into my apartment. I already have. Get out or I'm calling the police. Go ahead. You believe they would listen? I fall silent at that, my head spinning too fast to track. Closing down the school, withholding information on the crime, setting up Ryota as a scarecrow immigrant. That was you? Oh dear, I could hardly take credit for such a master's work of art. No, I'm just an ordinary teenage girl, beset with high school drama and college entrance exams. A sudden thrill of rage races through my veins. I lunge forward, slamming my hand on the glass. Look, Tanaka, I'm not in the mood for games. Oh, that's interesting. I could have sworn you were just playing one. What? Oh, are you feigning ignorance now? I speak of the, RP, of course. How could you know? I believe we've been over this part before, Yama Ishimoto. It is hardly of any importance by this point. What the hell are you doing, girl? She suddenly twists her fingers into my collar, her face dropping into a harsh straight line. What really matters is your sheer ignorance. You should have heeded my words while you had the chance. Your words? That you should have stayed out of this. Well, it's like... Mr. Ryota fucking kidnapped Rue. Like, how could we have not stayed out of it? We're just gonna let her die? All of this. She releases me, shoving me back with surprising strength. I barely catch myself against the wall. I caught the serial killer. Isn't that what? Natsuki barks in harsh laughter. What, that little pawn? I wouldn't go patting myself on the back for him if I were you. I practically spoon-fed him into your hands. She claps hollowly, every facet of her face alight in a sardonic smile. Congratulations, Yama Ishimoto. You think this is the end? You aren't even close. She slides to the door with cat-like grace, tapping something on her hip. The deadly fugue cuts off abruptly. Oh, and you might want to change your key code. There is silence, nothing but cold, deathly silence. I sink into my sofa, waiting in the darkness of my apartment. Only one phrase thrums through my mind. Ryota, in jail. Rue, alive. So what? The press is silent, the school is closed, and according to Sugar Ray, something's wrong with the police too. I thought I understood everything, but Natsuki is always one step ahead. I thought I was the orchestrator, but it looks like I'm just a pawn. Still too ignorant, still too weak. I don't know what's going on. But maybe this is when that all changes, because now I'm capable of fighting back. For Mizu, who I should have protected. For the smiles of my friends. For peace and happiness, I guess. How cliché. Maybe it's time to stop staying back, thinking that everything will go wrong. Maybe it's time to move forward. There's something behind all of these murders, and I have to figure out what that something is. Dude, this is not even the end. I thought we were like, getting close to the end of the story by now, And I can't do it alone, but I guess I'm realizing that I won't need to. I dream of something strange. At the time, it was perfectly clear, something so vibrant that it was almost tangible. There was smoke, something heavy in the air, a kind of blackness filling my lungs. While I was dreaming, I understood everything, but after waking up, it felt vague, a silhouette immersed in fog. I feel like I've missed something important. Normally, I might check if Natsuki's stolen anything from my apartment. To be honest, though, she doesn't seem like the thieving type. If anything, she's probably just the kind of person who relishes in the abject terror of humanity. Instead, I guess I'll wash up, and get dressed, and do whatever else is routine, waiting for the moment of truth, until I meet Rue today. It's a little strange, now that the day is bright and the sun's shining and the weather is stereotypically beautiful summer day, I find that my head is painfully clear. Cryptic warnings? Whatever. They're only ominous in the dead of night when accompanied by Dan's Macabre. As for meeting Rue today, I can't deny it any longer. She's going to confess to me. Oh, so he knows. She's going to say that she likes me, as in, has romantic feelings for me, just so I don't misunderstand, dummy. Okay, so listen up or she'll punch me. And by the way, this doesn't mean we have to date or anything. She thought that she should let me know. And she's liked me forever, but because I'm such a dummy, I never realized it. But anyway, where was she going with this? She had a point. Ah, right, she likes me. Yeah, that's all she had to tell me. Then she'll finally stop breathlessly, and I'm supposed to act floored because she was so very subtle about hiding her feelings. Maybe it sounds arrogant, but it's true. I can't deny that. For some unknown reason, Rue Hayata has feelings for Yama Ishimoto. The problem has always been, what do I do in response? You'd think that, after facing a serial killer together, anything else would pale in comparison. And well, I guess it did. Yesterday. No, for the past 3 months even. But maybe I'm having doubts now that the event is actually imminent, because for the first time, it's not just something I can push off for later. I'm going to have to face it. Today. The thing is, I know what Misaki would say, or what Akira would say. She likes you, and you need her. What's the problem? That's the problem. That's exactly the problem. Rue doesn't deserve anything half-hearted. She doesn't deserve a guy who doesn't even know how he feels, or a guy who's using her for his own purposes. She deserves someone who's totally, madly in love with her, who will pursue her to the ends of the earth, who will fight for her like she's... Why do I suddenly think of Masato? Ugh. Then Misaki or Akira will respond, well, I'm sure that doesn't matter to her. She likes you for you. And I will respond, it does matter. It will always matter. It will matter because in a few months, Rue will be disappointed, claiming that she's in a one-sided love, and she'll want more from me than I'm able to give. It will matter because if something happens between us, I'll have no one left. Then Misaki or Akira will respond, love is a choice. Love is an action. It's not a wishy-washy feeling. You can choose to love her. Then they'll continue. So go, confess, seize the day. And at that convenient moment, Rue will call me, and the shoujo manga will be complete. And speak of the devil, don't tell me this is about to happen. Hey, I know we're supposed to meet up today, but I was thinking that... Yama? My voice dies in my throat, and I flop on the couch staring at the ceiling. Hi, Dad. An awkward pause. I hadn't expected this call to come today. In fact, I hadn't expected this call to come, well, ever. What exactly has been going on? I don't hear disapproval in his voice. I don't hear anger. I don't even hear worry. He sounds distant, just like how I feel distant. Nothing much. It sounds feeble coming out of my mouth. Of course stuff has been happening. They've been paying the hospital bills. They've been receiving notices from the school. Who knows? Maybe Shigure talked to them. I want to hear it from your own mouth. Yama, what's this about a serial killer? And Rue, and... They weren't supposed to call. They were supposed to be ignorant, able to keep their son at a distance, abiding by whatever arrangement was most comfortable for them. Yeah, there's been disappearances at the school. It was actually because a faculty member at the school was kidnapping students and murdering them. Yes, we heard. I can't believe it. He almost killed Rue. Dead silence follows the statement. I wait, my palms sweating against my pajamas. So, the hospital visit. Yeah? Another silence. So much for not bothering my parents. Yama, you almost died, didn't you? You better tell me that there was no other option, son, and that you called the police. There wasn't, and yeah, I did. There's yet another silence. It's almost as if we're co-workers rather than family members. To be honest, I can't really say why. It's not like my parents hate me. In fact, I know that they care for me. Things used to be different. We were a close family in a way. Mom and Dad were always smiling, always laughing, always excited about their restaurant. But after Mizu... Son? Huh? Did you hear your mother? I pause. Dad sighs. We're coming to pick you up. Now. Wait, what? Leave? Now? There's too much unfinished. There's too much that I'm leaving behind. There's just too much. Honey, we thought you'd be safe and happy in Izumo with Rue, but... I am! Oh yes, I could tell from the hospital notice and from the serial killer that was apparently after you and Rue's necks. Dear, please calm down. You're coming back, Yamashimoto. I'm not... And suddenly his voice cracks. Losing my other kid. Just like that, the distance between us shatters into pieces. I fall backwards, my mind flailing for explanations. Expectations, guilt, nostalgia. We've been distant for years. We barely spoken. Most times I don't even come home for the holidays. Because after Mizu died, all they did was push me away. Right? Or was I the one who pushed them away first? I don't remember anymore. All I know is I don't want to go back. Not yet. I still need to stay in the city. I still have so much to discover about Ryota, about the news, about everything. But it's probably selfish. No, it's definitely selfish. All this time, I thought that my parents sent me to school with Rue to kick me out, but it looks like they've been just trying to take care for me. Shouldn't I repay the favor? We're getting in the car. Pack your stuff, Yama. We'll be there in 3 hours, honey. On the dot. 3 hours. 3 hours to say goodbye to all my friends I've made, tie up all the loose ends I've left hanging, including my visit to Rue, if I'm gonna visit her at all. What will I even do when I return to my hometown? Sleep? Watch movies? Waste the day just like I used to? No, I might not be in Izumo anymore, but that doesn't mean that I can't do anything productive from home. Okay, have a safe trip. Bye-bye, honey. You be safe too. And with that, the call shuts off. I should probably feel relieved, or happy, or grateful for learning that my parents haven't been ignoring me this whole time. But I only feel blank. Maybe the distance is too much. Maybe it's all too late. I carelessly begin to throw some of my belongings in a luggage, but stop short, checking the time. 3 hours. I have just enough time to visit one friend, then pop over to Rue's house before my parents arrive. Who? Just one person? It seems so sudden. Well, then again, I guess I shouldn't be making this a big deal. I'm not exactly moving to a different planet. Still, if I can only see one person, who should I see? Ooh. Casanova, have all the options to choose. Wait, have the options to choose all the heroines. Oh, well, I'm going to go with Misaki because she's, in our closest triangle. We've been friends for a long time, so I'm going to choose Misaki. Considering the circumstances, this is probably the best person I can talk to right now. Hey Yama, what's up? This is kind of sudden, but are you busy with work right now? No, why do you ask? Do you think we can meet up? A silence pervades over the line. She didn't hang up, did she? Are we going on an adventure? What? So, no? No, I just wanted to talk to you about something. Oh, I see. So, where do you want to meet? How about the courtyard? Oh, wait, the school's closed. Is there anywhere else where we could have a decent discussion? Ah, of course. Have you been to the river by the school? The river? Are you sure? Yeah, I'm sure. Alright, I'll see you there in a bit. She cuts the call. Well, time to head to the river. I leave my luggage in my apartment and head outside, slipping Rue's pen into my pocket. The day is beautiful and bright, sending waves of sparkles skittering across the surface of the Rainbow River. If I hadn't almost drowned in it twice, I might have actually appreciated its beauty. As it is, I can barely bring myself to approach a bench that's a good distance from the river's edge. I find Misaki already waiting for me. Her elbows are propped on the railing, a faraway gleam in her eyes as she overlooks the cityscape. That's odd. Normally she would be absorbed in her phone or snapping photos of everything around her. I tap her on the shoulder to get her attention. Afternoon, stranger. Oh, you're here. It's about time you showed up. Well, sorry for not having superhuman speed. You could always jump into radioactive waste like all the other superheroes. Does the Rainbow River count? As pretty as it is, it's pretty polluted. Oh, it's plenty polluted. So you're saying you already have a superpower? If I said I could destroy enemies with one punch, would you believe me? One Punch Man? Not in the slightest. You need to be bald for that. How that relates to having a superpower is beyond me. So, what did you want to talk about? It must be pretty important if you couldn't tell me over the phone. I fixed my eyes on the churning river, taking a moment to decide how to break the news. I'm moving away. Moving away? You mean back to Seto? Yeah, my parents weren't very happy when they heard about the incident. So they told me to move back with them. They don't think Izumo is safe anymore. Misaki's fingers curl around the railing, her gaze still transfixed somewhere off in the distance. I see, and after we've just reunited. I just thought that maybe we could spend some time together, just like when we were younger, but I might have been getting ahead of myself. Despite her composure, there's a catch in her voice. I'm sorry, Yama. I shouldn't be this upset. I awkwardly reach forward, then step back, then settle for an awkward pat on her shoulder. I get it. I don't want to leave either. Well, I mean, it's ironic, isn't it? 4 years ago, I was the one to leave. Now it's you. If anyone should be upset after all this time, it should be you, at me. And yet, she lifts her eyes to the sky and tilts her head back, breathing deeply. After a moment, she seems to regain her composure. Have you told anyone else that you're leaving? I haven't had the chance. My parents are picking me up in a few hours. That soon? Yeah, unfortunately. She bites her lip, seemingly lost in thought. Yama, there's something I need to tell you, before you go. What is it? She turns to face me, reaching out to hold my hands. I almost shrink back instinctively, but that would be kind of rude. Misaki was always very handsy. Thank you for never leaving me. But I am leaving. That's not what I meant. She sighs heavily. I know I'm not the easiest person to get along with. I used to drag you everywhere with me. You always ended up getting hurt, or in trouble, or even both. And yet, you never hated me for it. She smiles wistfully, her grip tightening around my fingers. Thank you for always being there for me, Yama. That's why I love you. This sudden, nonchalant declaration leaves me speechless. Misaki loves me? Since when did that happen? What's the matter? What about Rue? Oh, I love Rue too, of course. Wait, what? Is it so wrong of me to say that I love you guys? You mean you weren't... I wasn't what? She looks genuinely confused until a realization dawns on her. Oh, you thought I was confessing. I love you, Yama, but not in that way. I entangled myself from her grip in embarrassment. Then you probably shouldn't be using the word love so casually, Miki. Crap, now I'm starting to sound like Elizabeth. Ignoring my anguish, Misaki slaps me on the back, a smug grin plastering on her face. You thought I was confessing, and the first person you think about is Rue? I thought you said you didn't have feelings for her. Well, you see, I stumble over my words like an idiot. Why did I think of Rue? Sure, I know she likes me. Is that why my intrinsic response is to reject anyone else? Honestly, I don't know. You are going to see her before you leave, aren't you? Huh? Oh yeah, she's the one who told me to visit her, actually. I'm pretty sure she's going to confess to me. Don't tell me you're getting cold feet. Well... Misaki suddenly steps forward, gripping me by the collar. What are you... You have to see her, Yama. You can't just ignore the situation anymore. I know that you're scared. I know that you don't want to lose her, but just imagine how Rue must be feeling right now. She's probably just as afraid as you are. And if things don't work out, do you honestly believe you'll ever grow apart after everything you've gone through together? I've known you both for a long time now, and there's no denying that you care for each other, even if it isn't in the romantic sense. So go talk to her, Yama. She needs you right now. Seemingly done with her scolding, Misaki releases me. She's right. She's completely right. I never really considered how hard it must have been for Rue to decide to confess to me. The least I could do is take her words to heart. Okay. Good. Now that we have that settled, I have a favor to ask you. And what might that be? Promise me that you'll use patter more often. That's a very tame request coming from Misaki. Alright, I promise. Cross your heart and die? Isn't it cross your heart or hope to die? Probably. I was never good with idioms. I chuckle at that. Alright, but I still wouldn't know what to pat about. Like I told you before, it could be anything. So I could post that picture I took of you picking the school lock? You didn't! Oh, what's wrong? Afraid it would tarnish your online image as the cool, polished trendsetter? I thought that we were partners in crime, Yama, not backstabbers. Help those who help themselves, right? Or I might have a better idea, which is, you make yourself popular in patter and we establish influential connections. Then with our combined leverage, we take over the world. My own? My love? My precious? Precisely. This girl scares me sometimes. And yet, why do I feel honored? In some twisted way, I guess it's because she regards me as an equal. Come to think of it, that was the case even when we were younger. To Misaki, I was never this troubled or weird kid. I was just a friend, someone who she wanted to have adventures with, someone who she wanted to experience life with. I guess that I'd always appreciated that, even if world domination is a bit of an extreme case. Say, Miki? Yes? I gotta go soon, so could you tell the others why I had to move away? Sure thing. She could have asked why I didn't want to tell them myself. She could have asked why I couldn't just text them on my own. She simply accepted. She simply trusted me. Thanks. I turn away, but her hand touches my arm. Yama. See you later. I swallow, my throat suddenly feeling heavy. You too, Miki. And with that, I walk away, heading to the train station. Every step feels surreal. I'm walking through light, or water, or some half-formed dream. A distant part of my mind is whispering, moving? It can't be real. This can't be real. Earlier this year, the thought of leaving Izumo would be unimaginable. I had nowhere else to go. Even now, I don't really have anywhere to go. Well, either way, I need to meet with Rue before my parents arrive. I board the subway to Rue's house, gripping the pen in my pocket as the tunnel lights glare past the windows. Just go there, just talk with her, just hear her out. I'd like nothing more than to bolt, but this is a time to man up and face the problem head on. Everything will be fine. Probably. My arrival in District 2 is quiet and unhurried. Both the station and the roads are practically empty. Despite its close distance to the heart of the city, this district takes on some definite suburban qualities. Plants are definitely more plentiful here than in any other district, save for the boundary by the Izumo Forest. As I jump into the nearest cab, I catch a glimpse of the towering cluster of research buildings that line the roads. They're the closest thing to skyscrapers in this district. Most of them proudly bear the insignia of Way Forward Pharmaceuticals. Well, I guess that District 2 is known as the medical district for a reason. Hospitals, retirement homes, top-tier specialized treatment centers, District 2 would have it all. I've experienced it myself, far more than I would like. I dismiss my thoughts as the taxi rolls its way to the quieter side of the district and pulls to a stop at the entrance of a suburban neighborhood. A quick payment later, I'm striding to a familiar picket fence house on the corner of the street, surveying the sign hung cheerily on the door. Home is where the heart is, and the heart is where the Hayatas are. Cute. I'd always thought of that phrase as stupidly cheesy when I was a kid, but once you grow up a little, I guess you start appreciating stupidly cheesy things. I stand before the house for a moment, breathing quietly through my nose. This is it. The point of no return. Isn't that what they call it? The moment where it's no longer possible to have 1 foot in water and 1 foot on land, where the fence is too high to straddle and too thin to balance on. Yes or no, black or white, A or B. It's time for me to make a decision, whatever that decision means. I raise one hand to the door. Pause. One hand. How many lives have been ended with one hand? Roman gladiators, looking to audiences, searching for the telltale direction of their thumbs. Execution orders from monarchs all over the world, given with a snap of the fingers or the raising of an arm. Anyone with a semi-automatic in their hand, able to end a destiny with a twitch of their index finger. Ugh, this isn't good. My mind, wandering, again. I tell myself that this situation isn't even that bad, that really I just need to focus. Now's not the time to lose my head. I raise my hand again and knock firmly on the door, but it gives way beneath my knuckles, creaking open in the silence. Maybe she left it open for me. But then the smell hits. What? The moment it does everything. Everything is just unbearable. What? The first thing that hits my nostrils is a gassy, greasy smell of something burning, like stir-fry left too long in a steel pan. I better save. I'm getting nervous now. Like, what's happening? The creepy music's on. I instinctively cover my nose with my sleeve. The stench presses past my fabric, filtering through every thread like a worn sieve. The house is dark, beyond dimly lit. Not a single light flickers within sight, even on the electronics. Every curtain is fastened shut, leaving only stray pinpricks of light peeking through the windows. A strange curdle of fear fastens in my stomach. I push the door wide open, my voice cracking. Uncle? Auntie? Rue? A flood of sunlight washes around my figure, bathing the living room in an ivory glow. What it reveals is cruel, unforgiving, as bleak as it is bright. What? What's happening? Shards. It's the first thing my eyes land on. Fragmented, torn-edged shards of metal, wood, glass, all strewn over the floor and the furniture. Cushions with ragged seams are scattered on the ground, accompanying their toppled armchairs and sofas. The family pictures, usually in pristine condition on the walls, are hanging askew. frames cracked and pictures sagging through broken glass. Dude, what's happening? Transfixed in shock. I'm freaking out. Transfixed in shock, I step forward, my eyes roving around to take in the scene. I pass by the narrow doorway that leads to the kitchen. Rue and I used to play tag here, back in the day. That, and we try to climb up the door frame by pushing against opposite sides with our hands and feet. Now all I can see is a pan settled on the stove, old oil dancing over blackened food. The stove's still alight. Doesn't take a genius to realize that it's the source of the stench. A fire hazard in any other circumstance. And yet, it doesn't feel like fire is the worst to come. I almost chuckle. Maybe they were preparing for my arrival. Hospitality was always their strong suit. But despite that, abandoned cooking, lit stove, burning food. These signs all point in the same direction as the destruction before me. Something that wins in a lazy path into the dining room. Glass crunches beneath my shoes as I stop by the adjoining corridor, lifting my eyes slowly to the dining table. Dread. I had often felt it in my life, that black, slick sensation in the pit of my stomach, that sloshed with every step I took, that rose as bile to my throat, that crushed my lungs until I suffocated on my own breath. But I had never felt it like this. I stagger against the wall, my heart stopping cold in my chest. Rue's father is slouched against the table, head pressed almost comically into a bowl of soup, his hands hanging idly at his side. Blood is covered at the back of his skull. What? Crusting over his neatly kept hair and swimming in the soup that covers his face. His skin is pale, lifeless, his joints solidified from rigor mortis. Dead. How? Dude, I'm getting freaking goosebumps. I don't like this. I'm like starting to shake. How could this happen? My vision spins angrily before my eyes. I feel the automatic response of my conscience slipping away. No. No! I wrestle reality back into my grasp, jerking away from the terrible scene. I have to call the police. Get help. Do something. Oh, please tell me Rue got away. Just tell me that she got out of there. I stumble out of the dining room, jamming at my phone with trembling fingers when, dude, freaking Nutsuki warned us. Like, why didn't we freaking contact Rue last night? My foot catches against something stiff and creaky, and something very human. Rue's mother, blank-eyed, cuts from the shattered fragments on the floor covering her body, jaw locked in shock at an unseen assailant. A bullet hole is planted squarely in her chest, soaking her clothes and the carpet around her with blood. Dude, I don't know, man. I do not like this. Clutched in her frozen hand is a pitiful capsule of pepper spray. A laughable self-defense when surrounded by such devastation. I shakily pull myself to my feet, my breath coming fast and heavy. Too late. Dead. All my fault. Rue. Where's Rue? Our fucking heart's beating so hard right now. I stagger upward, vision still twisting as I pull myself along the wall and into the kitchen. She might still be alive. She might be okay. My own mind ridicules this senseless hope, and yet I feel strength bursting into my limbs, clearing my mind for one vital minute. Let's invent a little story. Let's say that once upon a time, a terrible murder occurred at an unsuspecting Fox suburban home. 2 adults, accomplished adults, beautiful and gentle adults, were brutally shot to death. Let's say that their home was ravaged, that shards of wood, glass, metal, and ceramics littered the ground so heavily that it was impossible to take a single clear step. But let's say that their sacrifices were not in vain, that despite this blindsiding crime, their daughter, their precious little girl, was able to escape. Oh, please say that she did. This daughter found refuge. She waited for her friends. She was terrified. She was upset, but she was alive. Let's invent this little story, and let's pretend that it's true. Let's sleep in peace, wrapped with hope, ready to fight for a brighter tomorrow. But stories, no matter how beautiful, are always so very wrong. Because in the kitchen, there is an island counter. At the edge of the island counter, there is a sickening lump of a of blood that lazily oozes down the cabinet. And below this island counter lies... No! No. Dude, how the hell did this happen? Dude, I'm shaking. I got goosebumps. Something very, very mocking. The hope that dared to rise in my chest crashes down my lungs, driving all breath from my body. My eyes are peeled open, unblinking, as if staring will somehow get rid of the sickening display. No, this isn't true. I crumple against the floor, splattered blood over my knees. I taste something metallic on the corner of my tongue. Visceral memories, barely 3 months old, surged to my eyelids. No, this was over. Everything was over. Isn't true, isn't true, isn't true, isn't true. Pipes, screaming, wood on metal and a knife sickening deep into flesh. No, 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 no. I seize the nearest object, a renegade shard from a nearby shattered bowl, and gash it violently. No! Dude. Dude, no. Mess up my makeup now. How could they do this? Was there a way to save her? I seize the nearest object. Yeah, I already read that. It should skitter across the surface or glide like ice, or feel distant, quiet 7 worlds away. But my arm shrieks in protest as the edge digs into the flesh, drawing slow, weeping blood. Why would they do this to him? Like, he wanted to do better and, like, leave the past, like, leave the death of his sister in the past and move forward and be a stronger person. And then they kill I knew that there was another person besides Mr. Iota, and maybe more than another person. But... and I should have freaking seen it coming when Natsuki was in the house and that freaking music was playing. Oh. But why would they do this to him? To break him? Because she warned him? I don't know. I can only stare as it throbs. Not a nightmare. Not a dream. Nothing but reality. Bowel claws up my throat until I retch against my mouth. I barely manage to turn away in time. Digested saliva drips from my lips and seeps into cracks of the tiled floor. A vision. A hallucination. Some other explanation. Not this. Never this. My sweat is ice cold against my skin. I'm shivering. Shivering with such intensity that my bones rattle in my eardrums. Pipes. Knives. Vomit. Blood. Smoke. Flooding, exhaust. No. This was supposed to be over. This was supposed to be behind us. She was safe. She made it home. She wasn't at school. She was safe. No. Dude, and she's like dressed up all pretty, wearing a necklace, and she's gonna tell Yama how she felt about him, and I forced my eyes to drift down, engraving every corner, every color, every spike of light into the deep recesses of my mind. Eyes glazed, mouth slightly agape, a remnant of surprise. She's dressed nicely, so nicely. I don't even remember the last time I saw her out of her uniform. She's even wearing jewelry. I choke over my own voice. Right, she thought of dressing nicely today. She thought of meeting up with me. We were going to have a little dramatic scene, something to do with I like you, and me too maybe. We were going to eat together with her family, maybe being embarrassed, maybe being understanding. I'm so upset right now. This is so fucked up. I didn't think the game was going to end like this. And we freaking escape Mr. Iota, like... Who knows what decision we've come to. But that is a different world. I reached to her cheek, touching her jaw with the edges of my fingertips. There should be warmth, pulsating life. I almost expect to feel her breath against my palm. Cold, still, unnatural, a mannequin manufactured by fate. A small sigh expels from my lips, washing against her bangs. I need to keep my glasses off because I'm going to keep crying. Rue, wake up. Her eyes are open, unblinking, a staring contest on the other side of life. She's not here. I retract my throbbing arm back to my side, slumping unceremoniously against the kitchen island. Shouldn't I scream for help? Should I wail in anger? But I only feel a numbness settling over my skin, something deep, calm, like a lake frosting over in the face of fresh snow. Of course it would be Rue, just like it was Mizu. There doesn't need to be any logic. There doesn't need to be any sense. All there has to be is cold, unforgiving injustice. All there is to be is misery, pain, suffering. Death can strike wherever it pleases, so long as it receives its ample reward. I throw back my head. I laugh. It reverberates in the empty, splintering ceiling. Beautiful, I muse. It's a cold kind of beauty, but it's beautiful. Just like death. My eyes drift onto Rue's face. I only stand there, an irreplaceable calm stilling all my other thoughts. I can almost see it from here, her fragile, pale body laid gently against the ground like a princess in slumber. Maybe she'd be smiling, a peaceful smile. I'd like that. She would be lovely, quiet, vulnerable, weak. She'd be standing here, frozen in shock, the images swimming before her in a Macrobay production. Weak. She'd be trying to call the police, but her fingers would slide across the bloody surface of her phone to no avail. Weak. I wish that we could trade places. I wish I would be the one lying on that floor, and she would be the one slumping against the wall with her useless phone clasped in her trembling fingertips. I wish I would be the one with my jaw solidified in horror, and she would be the one with a peaceful, emotionless smile. I wish that I would be gone, drifting away in a soulless wind, and she would be here, her spirit tortured and rent apart, but alive. I've wished many things, most of them too ridiculous to name. This, too, must be ridiculous. My vision blurs. Perhaps I care, perhaps I don't. Something clatters to the ground, steep gently in Rue's pool of blood. Time wears drearily on. I see nothing, I hear nothing. There is nothing in my mind but a pale reflection, a glimmer of scarlet ribbon fixed behind my eyelids. The clock ticks. I talk. Of all people, Rue Hayata. We just escaped a serial killer. We'd just been stretched to our wits' end. We'd just been in intense therapy for 3 months. That was certainly a hefty debt for life to repay. An innocent, gentle-hearted girl, thrust into something that snatched away her ability to talk. She deserved the world. She should have grown up. I gotta put my glasses back on. I don't know, this is so messed up. She should have grown up, married a guy who was madly in love with her, had 1.6 children, lived in a house with a white picket fence. But this, what is this? This is beyond simple injustice. This is just cruelty. Life is cruel, death is cruel, and Rue has to pay the price for their damn little games. Treating her like a pawn on a chessboard, an insignificant sacrifice for a meaningless play. I can't stand it. She never deserved this, any of it. I lash out blindly. The heel of my foot splinters against something wooden, stabbing deep into my leg. The pain feels distant, like my limbs are detached from my head. Dude, Yama, like, this is fucked up. I know that he has, you know, problems. The loss of his sister, now the loss of Rue. He needs to call the police. He can't be, like, cutting himself or, you know, in a crime scene, you know what I mean? If they find his blood there or whatever, you know, they're gonna blame him, right? I don't know what's gonna happen. My pain feels distant, like my limbs are detached from my head. Might as well be. After fighting so hard to keep it all together, slamming ourselves repeatedly into a wall until it shattered with our own broken bodies, Rue is still dead. Then the pain, a hammering hollow circle of agony in my arm and my foot, drives to a sudden frenzy. I'm assaulted with the sensations, bright and fierce and angry, corkscrewing directly into the marrow of my bones. No Rue, no more bright smiles and flushed cheeks, and teasing winks and exasperated loving little sighs. Oh man, I'm gonna cry again. My calf clenches in sudden agony. I bite the inside of my cheek to keep from screaming. No more fretting like a mother hen and totally extra lunch boxes and tiny little signs of jealousy. The throbbing in my arm rises to my shoulder, past my neck, right into my skull. I cradle my head in my arms, desperate. No more casual trips to GFC and random moments of make-believe and strolls around downtown. Because life as you know it, is gone. Tears squeeze from below my eyelids, mixing with the flecks of blood and bile smeared over my face. Stop. 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 Just make it all stop. Not Rue. Not Mizu. There's pain. So much pain. Too much I can't handle it. I can't handle this, and everything hurts. I just can't. Jack and Jill went up the hill to fetch a pail of water. Jill fell down and Jill fell and broke her. And Jack came tumbling after. Can we please get her off the screen? This is so messed up. Then Jill's corpse comes to life. It jerks upright, limbs tied to loose ends of puppet strings, smiles at me through a sheen of red. Oh, Jack, you're late. Iron shoves up my nostrils and strangles down my throat. I choke, working to speak. Sorry. Oh my god, I don't want to get closer to her, dude. Stop. She pitches forward, pushed by something invisible. Her slender fingers wrap around my neck and dig into my throat. I catch a whiff of her breath, putrid, rancid, the smell of raw, old eggs over decaying meat. The smell makes me gag over my own tongue. You shouldn't have been late. So if we wouldn't have met up with Misaki, would we have saved her? They didn't give me a choosing not to hang out with anybody. Her fingers disintegrate into bones, skin cells, blown to ashes on the wind. They clatter to an orderly pile, forming a makeshift xylophone. Tiny little notes begin to ring from their skeleton surfaces. It's supposed to be a melody. I can feel the vibrations in the air. I know that the song is supposed to be beautiful, but my ears hear only dissonance, cacophony, a dirge for murder of crows. And pungent, burning smoke shoots from the stove like an arrow slapping me in the face. Hospitality. It should have been hospitality. Don't do this. Come back. Come back, Rue. My surroundings melt away. I squint against the screeching, agonizing white that stabs at my eyes. The light only intensifies. No rest. Never rest. You are trapped, you fool. There is no place for you. I reach out. The brightness pricks my hands. I slither backward. Stop it. Stop it. The light advances and digs through my fingernails, bleeds past my eyelids, settles in the space at the back of my neck. I pound myself against invisible walls. I rattle. Chimes on a wooden bridge. No place. No peace. No pace. Stop it! Everything ends. Elsewhere, something must be beginning, but what is that to an ending? I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. But this, I can't do anything about this. This is out of my control. Out. To be continued. Oh my god, that's the ending? I mean, damn, that was a good game. I did not think I was... I knew I was coming to the end, but I did not expect that end. I'm really disappointed at that ending. I wonder, like, is there any way to save Rue? I mean, for anyone who's played this game, is there any way to save her, or is she destined to die? And, like, we'd never even found out who the other murderers were. Like, who was helping Mr. Iota? Was that Mr. Iota in the forest, or was he one of the people, or the helpers, or, you know, one of the people, or the others that they were talking about? You know, was he just one of the many, or, you know? And why didn't Natsuki come to my apartment the night before Rue was killed and saying, "Oh, you should have stayed out of it. I tried to warn you"? Was she threatening me that, or, you know, hinting that Rue was going to be murdered because of Yama didn't, you know, stay out of it? Inciting incident. Complete common route. Alright, so I am still going to be continuing this game for a bit. I still want to show you guys all the achievements. So stick around to see the achievements for the rest of this game. Hold on, let me check and see how many achievements I have for the game. 5 hidden achievements remaining. Okay, so I got Inciting Incident, Complete Common Route. Casanova, have the option to choose to visit all available heroines. Ultimate Negotiator, pick the stall option as many times you can without reaching a bad end. The clock is ticking, never select a wrong answer for the deduction sequence. All roads lead to Governmecker, because we watched all the Governmecker episodes. Riddle me this, never select or input a wrong answer for Sugar Ray's puzzles. Natural Genius, get 100% on your pop quiz. Yeah, I had to look up the answers for that one. And A Worthy Assistant, never select a wrong choice in the initial counter with Sugar Ray. What's the global achievements? Alright, so the next time I upload a video for Lucid 9 Inciting Incident, I will be showing the last 5 achievements that are needed for the game. If it leads to new text, new dialogue, I will still be reading the game. I will still be reading the story. I will show you how to get those achievements. So yeah, just stay tuned. So I guess I'm going to end this episode right here. We're at the end of the game for today, and I've already been recording for 2.5 hours. So share the content. If you enjoyed my playthrough of Lucid 9 Inciting Incident, please leave a like. Let me know what you guys thought down in the comments. Let me know what you guys thought about Rue dying. That was just so messed up. And make sure you subscribe and click that bell button so you know when I upload the next episode of Lucid 9 Inciting Incident for the achievements. Thank you so much for watching. You guys have a great night. Bye.